Hi, I'm Karen and I'm the founder of The Student Ladder, an information destination for students. And today we are going to talk about whether you should go to university or not. The first thing I will say is it is not a given that just because you are a bright student, you should go to university. There are a lot of other opportunities that you might want to consider. So what we're going to do in the next 5 minutes is just take a look at the disadvantages and the advantages of both options. So let's start with why you might consider not going to university. Well, number one is probably the most obvious, and that's about student debt. It's going to be difficult if you're not funded by your parents to come away from university with anything less than £40,000 or £50,000. Most courses are now £9,000 and you've got accommodation and you've got living expenses on top of that. If you do a 4-year course, then it could be even higher. That is actually a very significant amount of debt and it will impact you going forward. Secondly, if you are not going to university and you're working, as well as having no debt, you will actually start to earn. So you will be earning a salary, and those salaries for a lot of school leaver programs now are fairly significant, way over 20,000 in a lot of cases. The third area to say is there is a growing trend for many leading employers to offer school leaver programs for bright students. And by that, I mean students who are perfectly capable of going to leading universities, who have got maybe 300 plus UCAS points, and who they want to recruit at age 18. And following on from that, perhaps the most important thing here, and this is the thing to consider, is that competition at 18 is less fierce than it will be at 21. So landing a job with a leading employer, maybe a PwC or a BBC or a Sky, is a lot less competitive when you come out with A-levels than it will be when you come out with a degree. So at 21, you're going to get up against Oxford, Cambridge, European universities, Harvard, Durham, UCL. And so there's a lot more competition than there will be at 18. And once you're in at 18, then you're in. And now a lot of these school leaver programs are tending to be run parallel to what you would have come out with as a graduate in 3 years. Most of them fund study and they fund professional qualifications. So you're almost on a parallel track. And then finally, the sort of more emotional reasons for not going, and that is, if you've had enough of studying, or if you're not that interested in a particular subject, then you are going to spend a lot of time on your own studying, and it's hard work, and you will not perform that well if you're not that interested in your subject. And unlike school, there's nobody really driving you or directing you or pushing you. You have to be self-motivated. So I think, in summary, it's important that you realise that you have a genuine choice, that you want to consider seriously potentially the advantages of not going as opposed to going. So why don't we take a look at the reasons to go to university? Well, first, the most obvious one is there is certain subjects that are vocational. If you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, a banker, etc., they are graduate entries and you need to study those subjects. There are other areas that require graduates and you might disadvantage yourself if you don't have a degree. So if you know what you want to do, you might just want to have a look at that. Secondly, if you are a bright student aiming for a Russell Group university and you're interested in your subject and you want to study it, then you should go. Simple as that. Also, it's fair to say that university is not just about academics. You will be presented probably more opportunities to do more things with more people at university than anywhere else. And it's a place where many people make lifelong friends and get involved in numerous things that they perhaps wouldn't have got involved with before. And it's a place where people grow up. You're independent, you're away from home for the first time, and that's a great experience for many. One of the things that might help you decide is taking a look at the alternatives. So on the Student Ladder website, we've got all of the school leaver programs that are available, and there's over 100 from top employers covering everything from media jobs to retail jobs, consulting jobs, legal jobs, financial jobs, accounting jobs, engineering, construction, etc. You know, all sectors are covered. So take a look. The other area, which is a bit of a halfway house that I would urge you to consider, is looking at some of the study work options or the sponsored degrees, because they're very attractive, and this is where employers are sponsoring you. So you're working for them some of the time and you're studying the other half of the time in some sort of combination. And the employer generally is paying and funding your studies, providing you paid work experience, and often guaranteeing a graduate job at the end. So they're very attractive, often in areas like engineering, construction, technology, but also, you know, a number of other areas as well. So to check those out. My personal view on it, which may be contentious, is if you are a very bright student, if you are heading for a solid subject at a Russell Group university, go and do it. If, however, you're aiming for a sort of middle-ranking university in a softer subject, going to end up with £50,000 worth of debt, you might want to just consider some of the school leaver programs. What's interesting today is no employer is interested in a 2-2 degree. You will struggle to get an interview with a 2-2 degree. So the worst thing you could do is go build a load of debt, come out with a 2-2, and your career prospects will actually be dented by doing that. So give it some thought at least. If you've enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. There's other videos in this series, so subscribe to our YouTube channel for those, or follow us on Twitter and Facebook for more regular updates. Bye for now.